Off the coast of Nagasaki, a silhouette rises from the turbulent waters of the East China Sea. It appears as a mirage, a ghost fleet on the horizon. This is a fortress of concrete and steel, a city shaped by immense ambition and ultimately abandoned by the relentless march of time. From a distance, its jagged industrial profile against the sky resembled a warship, a hulking gray dreadnought steaming through the waves. This powerful image earned it a nickname that would echo through history, a name that speaks of both strength and isolation. They called it Gunkanjima, Battleship Island. But before the battleship, there was only a rock, a barren, inhospitable reef, barely a kilometer square, known to local fishermen as a place to be avoided, a hazard battered by seasonal typhoons and ceaseless waves. For centuries, it was nothing more than a craggy outcrop, home only to seabirds. Its destiny was irrevocably transformed in 1887 when a rich, deep seam of high-quality coal was discovered beneath the seabed. In an era of rapid modernization, this was black gold. The Mitsubishi Corporation, a burgeoning industrial giant, acquired the island in 1890. They saw not a rock, but a reservoir of energy to fuel Japan's meteoric rise on the world stage. What followed was a monumental feat of engineering, a war waged against the ocean itself. The company embarked on a massive land reclamation project, tripling the island's surface area. They erected immense, multi-layered concrete walls to shield their new enterprise from the ocean's fury, creating the iconic battleship silhouette. Upon this newly forged land, they built a city unlike any other. In 1916, they constructed Japan's first large-scale, reinforced concrete apartment building, a 9-story structure designed to withstand the brutal elements and house a growing workforce. A city was not just built upon this rock, it was forged against the very will of nature, a vertical metropolis rising from the waves. The heart of Gunkanjima, its very reason for being, beat deep underground. Every day, thousands of men descended into a claustrophobic labyrinth of tunnels that stretched for miles beneath the ocean floor. The shafts plunged over a kilometer into the Earth's crust, where temperatures soared to over 30 degrees Celsius with 95% humidity. The air was thick with coal dust, a constant threat to the lungs, and the darkness was absolute, broken only by the faint glow of headlamps. It was grueling, dangerous work, a constant battle against darkness, heat, gas pockets, and the immense pressure of the sea above. This was the engine of the island, the sweltering subterranean world that powered the vibrant city on the surface. While the men toiled below, a complete, self-contained world thrived above. The concrete apartment blocks, some of Japan's very first, soared towards the sky. Families filled these compact homes, creating a vertical city connected by a dizzying maze of stairways, bridges, and corridors. Because space was the ultimate luxury, there were no cars. Everything was within a 10-minute walk. The island boasted schools, a hospital with modern equipment, shops, a cinema that showed the latest films, a pachinko parlor, bars, and even a Buddhist temple and Shinto shrine. Life was lived in incredibly close quarters, fostering a tightly woven community where the laughter of children playing on rooftop gardens provided a stark, hopeful contrast to the oppressive silence of the mines. By the late 1950s, Hashima reached its zenith. In 1959, over 5,200 people called this tiny island home, making it the most densely populated place on Earth in history. It was a symbol of Japan's post-war economic miracle, a marvel of modern engineering and social organization. The residents of Gunkanjima were resilient, bound together by shared purpose and the unique challenges of their isolated home. They celebrated festivals on rooftops, grew small gardens in window boxes, and raised families in the shadow of the headframe that marked the entrance to the underworld. They had built more than a mining facility. They had built a society, a vibrant and proud community on the edge of the world. But this story of progress has a darker, more complex side. During the Second World War, as Japanese men were sent to the front lines, the insatiable demand for coal was met by forced labor. Hundreds of Korean civilians and Chinese prisoners of war were brought to the island against their will. They endured the harshest conditions in the mines, suffering from malnutrition, exhaustion, and brutal treatment. Many died here, far from their homes. They're suffering a painful and long unacknowledged chapter in the island's history. This legacy complicates the narrative of industrial triumph, reminding us that the foundations of this concrete battleship are cemented with the sacrifice and sorrow of those who had no choice. But the world was changing. The black gold that had given Hashima life was being replaced. In the 1960s, petroleum began to supplant coal as Japan's primary energy source. The nation's economy shifted gears, moving away from heavy industry towards cleaner, more efficient fuels. The demand for Gunkanjima's expensive, difficult-to-extract undersea coal dwindled rapidly. The once profitable mines became a financial liability, and the immense cost of maintaining the island city, of shipping in every drop of fresh water and every grain of rice, began to far outweigh its benefits. The economic engine that had built the island was sputtering to a halt. The end was approaching. In January 1974, Mitsubishi officially announced the closure of the mines. The news sent a shock-wave through the tight-knit community. An entire way of life was ending. The evacuation was swift and clinical. Within just 3 months, the entire island had to be emptied. Families who had spent generations on the rock, who knew no other home, packed what they could. They left behind furniture, appliances, toys, and a lifetime of memories, believing perhaps that they might one day return. The last ferry departed on April 20th, carrying away the final residents. As the boat pulled away, the once deafening sounds of industry and community, the sirens, the machinery, the children's laughter, faded into a profound and permanent silence. The heart of Gunkanjima stopped beating. Left to the elements, the city began to decay. Salt-laced winds, the same that had battered the rock for millennia, now tore through the empty corridors of the apartments. Typhoons, no longer held back by diligent maintenance, shattered windows and ripped facades from the concrete towers. Rainwater pooled in abandoned classrooms and hospital rooms, and rust consumed the steel skeletons of the mining facilities, bleeding orange streaks down the gray walls. Slowly, inexorably, the natural world began its patient reclamation. Greenery sprouted from cracks in the concrete, vines crawling up the walls of the silent apartments, and small trees took root on balconies. Nature took the keys to the city. For decades, the island was forbidden territory, a crumbling ghost on the horizon, its structures too dangerous to enter. But its story, a potent mix of innovation and desolation, endured. In 2015, it was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, part of a collection of sites of Japan's Meiji Industrial Revolution. This status acknowledged its role in the nation's modernization, while also bringing its more painful history into the international spotlight. Today, tour boats carefully navigate its shores, allowing visitors to step onto small, designated sections of the island. From these safe pathways, they can gaze into its haunting beauty and contemplate its complex past. The island now stands as a powerful, silent monument. It is a memorial to the thousands who lived, worked, and died here, and a stark, physical reminder of the incredible rise and sudden fall of an industrial empire. But its future is uncertain. The same forces of nature that it was built to defy are now tearing it apart. Conservation is a constant battle against time and tide. Every passing year, every storm, claims another piece of the city, and experts warn that without massive intervention, the island's iconic structures may soon collapse entirely. Hashima is more than a ruin, it is a time capsule. It speaks of human ingenuity, the creation of community in the most unlikely of places, the relentless pursuit of progress, and the human and environmental costs that often accompany it. A battleship of concrete, now a vessel of memory, forever anchored in the sea of time. Hashima, Japan's ghost island.